Love of the Invisibles. How Ash Found Violet. 9. Copyrighted 2015 by NazeliBook. While the boat was in full speed as Melsik steered it along the shoreline, Ash was tending to Violet's bruises. They were not so significant, but they hurt all the same, so Violet asked Ash to use his special healer energy on her. She was curious how all this new stuff worked. He placed his hand on her feet, and she immediately felt the electrical current pass through her body, and the pain started to disappear gradually. So you mean the bruises don't disappear immediately? Violet teased Ash. That kind of transformation happens in movies, but in real life, the bruise stays for a little while. The skin cells cannot generate that fast. It only happens with children. You know, faster cell turnover time with kids and all. But with my energy, it cuts the healing time twice or even 3 times. It all depends on the amount of force I put in the current and feeling. What do you mean? Violet was about to unplug the lengthy lecture just before she heard the word feeling. If you have feelings about someone, the healer energy is combined with my personal energy, the one I use only for myself. Now that's power. Ah, interesting, Violet said. Can I feel that energy on a larger scale? I mean, up close? She moved over on the other side of the bed with inviting eyes. Oh, I would like that. Ash slid next to her and got comfortable. But this is all you get. Violet looked at him sideways with a seductress "why?" question in her eyes. Simple, Ash answered. The hunk up there can easily catch the energy we will channel through the ship and all around the area. Oh, Violet whispered, disappointed. Well, this feels great, just the same, she said, cuddling with her husband. She placed her head on his broad shoulders, closed her eyes, and started to relax under the cradling movement of the ocean waves. He spent most of the day at her side, going up only to bring her food and drinks. They looked at the ocean from the round window above the bed and went to sleep after the sunset, since there was nothing much to do. When she opened her eyes, it was morning. She felt the boat being more stable, and when she looked out of the window, she found out that they were docked at a shore similar to the previous one, with sand at the beach that followed with a thin strip of marsh, and the view was curtained with lush green pines with their peaks immersed in the morning fog, slowly floating about. Oh, you're up. Ash was wide awake. How did you sleep? Very well, Violet replied, slowly stretching her arms. Where are we? This is the pine, Ash said proudly. My parents own the entire forest, the whole 104 acres. They are Canadian then? Canadian citizens, yes, but they have dual citizenship, so they are US citizens too, Ash answered. Yes, me too, he added before Violet could ask the question for it. Are we going to live here? Violet asked as they were going up on deck. For the time being, before I feel safe to take you to our home. And where it would be? Violet asked, taking the crisp morning air. She was glad that Ash has gotten her a jacket back in San Francisco. It was surprisingly chilly, even though it was still summer. Your hair is getting lighter, Ash said, touching the roots of her long, now dark brown hair. It's too early for that, Violet noted. Well, not if you're up in higher latitude. Canada does not get as much sun as Los Angeles, so your melanin count is getting less. I usually don't wait for that. I color my new growth to match with the other parts of my hair. Your eyes will get lighter soon, he almost whispered to himself, and then, seeing Violet's eyebrow rise, as she thought, So, where are we going to live? It's a surprise, he added, since he knew Violet expected an answer. And I haven't decided which of my places to choose to raise a family. You have more than one? She asked. Yes, you'll see, he answered casually. By late morning, after they had breakfasted, Ash, Violet, and Melsik started their way to the pine. First, by foot into the nearby small one-room house, if it was to be called a house. It was so small, just a room, some area to eat, and a place to shower and refresh. We use this to wait for the right tide when we go sailing or fishing or out to town, Melsik explained. It's sturdy, the roof is good, and Hunter has reinforced the walls. Hunter? Violet asked without words. My other brother, Ash answered back, as Melsik was directing them towards the back of the house. There was what seemed to be a vehicle covered with grey material. Melsik and Ash removed the cover and revealed a dark green truck. The road through the forest was wide but unpaved. It absorbs rainwater and does not slide as much when the snow falls, explained Melsik. The pine tree roots keep the soil from erosion. Violet marveled at the tall trees with trunks covered with green moss. There were thick berry bushes all around. She recognized blackberries, raspberries, but there were shiny, translucent red-colored berries clustered on vine stems that were not familiar to her. Red currants, Melsik explained when she asked. They grow in places with colder temperature. They are loaded with vitamin C, Ash added, and Hermina makes great currant jam. Her black currant jam is my favorite, Melsik said, parking the car at the side of the road. You don't need to go far to find a black currant bush. He picked some and brought them to Violet. They looked like tiny black marbles with a small dot on the end of each one of them. Don't worry, they're clean, Melsik said. Looks like it rained overnight. They're naturally washed. Not too sweet and somehow sour, Violet said, taking more clusters of berries from Melsik's hand. He nodded, smiling. You'll get used to it. It felt good to have a brother, Violet smiled back. I think I like them. What about these? Ash moved towards the car. Violet had her door open, but was still sitting in it. He handed her some red currants. Those are more sour but juicy, Violet said, as the tiny berries popped in her mouth. The ones around the houses are sweeter, Melsik explained, since they see more sun. You can have as much as you want. Eat those in moderation, Violet heard Ash's warning with a crooked smile. They might give you a tummy ache at the beginning until you get used to them. Violet raised her eyebrow and wanted to find out more, but Ash added, They're great for nausea, though. Who has nausea? Violet sent him the message with one of her strict side glances. Well, sweetie, you might get them sometime later, he added. Violet opened her mouth to protest, but Ash and Melsik were already closing the car doors, and the car engine's loud sound was all that was heard as they hit the road again. 10 minutes later, the car stopped at an open area cleared from trees and bushes. It served as a parking lot of sorts because there were 5 more cars parked there, all different make and sizes. We walk from here, said Melsik, and started to climb up the stone stairs. Where are we? Violet asked. Home, Ash said with delight. It is up there, on the high ground. He pointed up to the hill. Hey, Melsik! He looked around. I guess he was anxious to get home. Ash shrugged his shoulders. Why park here? Violet thought. Because the hill is too steep to drive. Plus, it is safer. Ash replied, having read his wife's thoughts. The surveillance camera can spot any activity at the parking lot and around the hill. Besides, there's no chance passing through Hunter. He can sniff out anyone and anything moving within 1,000 feet radius with his electromagnetic field. Hunter? Violet thought. My older brother. What was that? He stopped and turned. A sound of broken wood was heard very close to where they were. You go up the stairs and follow the paved road to the house. I will check around. It seems like an animal is sniffing around. Ash showed Violet the stairs. Don't worry, he reassured her. I'll be right behind you.